What do you do when your attention is hijacked by heightened emotion? I'm Nidhi,
My name is Vineet.
and we are teachers of
Creation. We're on a mission to support you to become the conscious creator of your reality, to give
yes,
you the answers, the solutions, the missing pieces to the puzzle of you becoming the creator.
yeah,
So, what I said earlier was this. Oh, I didn't say this, but you know what I mean. In the previous video, is what I'm trying to say. In the previous video, what we had covered was that attention creates reality. It's not intention that creates reality. Everyone's got intention, or a lot of people have intention, but it's placing your attention on that intention, which allows for you to create that outcome into reality. Yet, there's a problem. Most of us are not attending to that so-called beautiful rose in the garden, right? That rose plant. Instead, we're putting our attention on the weeds all the time, right? And that is what our identity is. Our identity is largely rooted in survival, right? And therefore it's equal to the past, but you're trying to create the future here. So if you're trying to create the future, but your past keeps interrupting it, for most people, what tends to happen is they are emotionally hijacked, right?
yeah,
There is,
hijacked into the past.
yeah, there is a freight train that's going in that direction. It's sort of full of goods, shall we say, but your intention is in this direction. So therefore, that opposition cancels out your intention. So what do you do when those emotions are really, really strong, when you have heightened emotions? There are two things that most people tend to do.
Yeah, so one of two things. So, I mean, I've done it, I'm sure you've done it, and I'm sure we're all doing it. So, one of two things. When we feel like our emotions and our body is hijacking us into the past, we will either try to overlay that emotional disturbance with positive thinking, or what we'll do is we will go into fight or flight or freeze. My favorite one was always freeze. And actually, what we're doing in that state is we are remaining in the state of the fear. And then as a result, what that ends up doing is it ends up reinforcing the programs that we don't want. So as Vineet just says, it ends up reinforcing the opposite of the intention.
Because the point that I want to make here before we go to how do we deal with those heightened emotions is it's a bit like this. You have a beautiful garden, okay? But your soil is contaminated. Your soil's contaminated and you're trying to plant beautiful plants. You're going to have to fix the soil. You can't pretend that it's all going to be okay. And ultimately, why do people have those go-to, shall we say, that positive thinking where they're going to freeze? Is because ultimately people have been conditioned to be scared of how they feel. They suppress how they feel. Suppressing how you feel doesn't make it go away. So I'm going to pass to Nidhi, and she'll start with the process of how do we deal with those heightened emotions that are in opposition to your intended uh, uh, creation.
So, in two words, emotional acceptance. So, I just want to begin with a little example, something that I have personally experienced and gone through. So, I was exactly this person, what we're describing here. So, when I had a strong intention and I was trying to keep my attention on the thing that I wanted, suddenly I was smashed with an emotion from the past. Usually, it was an intense, acute fear, and when it would come up, I would literally freeze. And I use the word literally in the right sense. I would freeze. I wouldn't know what to do. So in that moment, there is no use of me trying to overlay it with anything else. I have to deal with what is making me freeze. So we have a process called emotional acceptance, and we like to call it nature's way. Because what we are doing is we are working with the thing that is coming up within us, as opposed to trying to run from it, change it, hide it, suppress it.
Yeah. Because the example that I'll give is when the freight train is full of fuel going in one direction, you trying to be in opposition to it and trying to go, no, I want to create reality. It's not happening. It's a little bit like this. You may have come across, obviously, Dr. Joe Dispenza talks a lot about quantum physics. He talks about the observer effect. there is the wave becoming a particle, right? The way the wave becomes a particle is by observing it. See, the thing is, there's something called observing something into reality, and there's also something about unobserving it, right? And what we're doing here, we're unobserving it. We're allowing for the particle to take a step back, to regress back to waveform, right? And we're taking our attention away. But this is not positive thinking. This is about what nature wants to do, as Nadita said. Nature doesn't want you to hang on. It wants you to evolve to greater states of being. It wants you to evolve there. So therefore, when you do not suppress how you feel, you can let it go. So shall I explain to them? Shall I go through the process? Okay, let's take the scenario of, I want you to think about a situation in your life that that tends to come up, that tends to contradict what you want. So for example, you may want good health, or maybe you want financial prosperity in your business. That was my situation. Health is Nidhi's. Think of your situation. Do it right now. What is the situation that you want to create? What is that? First, think of that. Okay, you got it? If you haven't, pause it here. You got your situation. Now, in your, I call it day trading, okay? Throughout the day, you are probably going to have something in your identity that is scary, okay? An emotion that comes up that hijacks you. What is the thinking or the feeling that tends to hijack you? So in my case, when and even in this case, fear has been our buddy, shall we say. For me, it's been the fear of survival, and for you, to do with health, it was the fear of living, I guess, right? A fear of not living.
Fear of, yeah,
Dying, you could call it,
dying,
right?
living, yeah.
All right. So I want you to identify the emotion that tends to come up for you regularly that makes you put your, remember this yesterday? Remember this torch? Remember that? I want to think about the emotion that tends to hijack your attention. It takes it from pointing in one direction with what you want to what you don't want, right? In the opposite direction. What is that emotion? Write that down. What is the key emotion? Is it fear? Is it shame? Is it guilt? Is it sadness? Is it anxiety? What is the emotion that's playing out for you, right? There will be an emotion or two that play out for you. Now, in that situation, remember what we said earlier, you're, you are, sorry about this, you're not trying to overlay it with positive thinking. What you're trying to do here is attend to the soil. Okay. The way we do this, we do acceptance. We accept the emotion. When we are accepting of an emotion, it will fall away. It's nature's law that it will fall away. Okay. Now, how do we do emotional acceptance so that the emotional charge falls away, or we take the fuel out of the freight train? How do we do that? Now, imagine the emotions coming up. I want you to take yourself to that scenario, to that memory, something that triggers you. I want you to go there, okay? And when you're there, I want you to become present in the body with the emotion. Where is the body in the emotion and what does it feel like? Okay? When you have got that emotion, when you're present with it, what I want you to do is drop out of the story, drop out of the narrative you have in your head. This process of letting, which is called a letting go process. Because there's something, when you have a battery, right? Imagine a Duracell battery. I'm not affiliated to Duracell. You can think of another brand, right? So when you have a battery, you have a plus and a minus, okay? Creating reality is not only about the plus, it's about the minus, letting go of the minus and enforcing the plus. You want to tip the balance of your attention more and more in the direction you want. Energy flows where attention goes, more of your energy. So if your energy is being hijacked by this attention, this emotion, what you do, you think of the situation, whatever the memory is, whatever the scenario is, and you locate the emotion in the body, right? You locate the emotion in the body and you put your attention again, your focus on the emotion in the body, and you let yourself become present to it without the story, without the thinking. This is not a thinking process. Put your attention on it and let that emotion play out. Be present to it. It might take 5-10 minutes. You're not trying to suppress the emotion. You're not trying to make it go away. You're not compromising with the emotion. You're just being present with it. Like you would be if you had a child and your child was crying, you would just be present with your child. You would give your child a hug. That is all we want you to do. Become present in the body with the emotion. If you can do that for a number of minutes at a time, without the story, without thinking it, just being present, it will fall away. The emotional charge will fall away.
Yeah.
You want to add something on that?
Yeah, just an important point there. I think that sometimes people think in this work, when we talk about accepting your emotions, people think, well, isn't that me then observing my emotion, the emotion that I don't want to feel, and is it not going to therefore become more of my reality? No. So as Vineet just said, there is there's a big difference in observing your intention versus being present with an emotion that is currently overtaking you within your body. Because there you will really find, if you do the process diligently, you do it properly, and as Vineet mentioned, as you drop out of your brain into the body, I will call this a magical process. It's an absolutely magical process, because you will notice you can go from 10 out of 10 heightened emotion, and if you just allow yourself to be present with it, and just it's almost as though it's processing through your body and it's processing out. When you get to the point of zero, there will be a point when you open your eyes and think, shit, how did that just happen? It is truly, truly magical. I'm telling you, because this is coming from someone that struggled with being able to face emotion for many, many, many years. I was terrified of my emotions. I wanted to run, I wanted to hide, I wanted to pretend. But since I started this process, it has literally transformed my life.
And to add to that, remember, I'm going to say it again to you. You're not broken. This is not a healing process. It's none of that.
Yeah.
All it is presence. Remember the word presence. Presence means you're present with everything. It doesn't mean that you pick and choose what you become present to. You do not. You be present. Because if you brought your full presence to something, what doesn't serve you will fall away. And in this case, we're talking about the emotional. What we're looking to do is go from heavy to light. That is what we're looking to do. You'll only do that if you place your attention on the feeling or the emotion in the body, not the thinking, not trying to figure it out. Nothing to figure out here. Just be with the emotion. One of the things that might happen for you, you might cry. Crying is a good thing because you're releasing the emotional charge. And that's the intention here. We're releasing the emotional charge. But let me add the paradox. If you try and make the emotion go away, it will get trapped. That's the paradox. You're not trying to make it go away. You're becoming present to it. You're accepting it. And in that paradox is when the emotion falls away. Because the only reason that the emotion of the unconscious persists is because on some level you're in a state of resistance to the emotion. Stop that. Stop resisting it. It can't kill you. When it falls away, you'll notice that the thing that kept grabbing your attention, that falls away because you're not emotionally invested any longer.
Yeah.
You're not addicted to it, and your attention will naturally come back to what you are consciously wanting to attend to.
Yeah.
So that is the process. Now, do you want to explain? Well, actually, one thing which I do want to say, if this has served you, hopefully it has served you, can you please share this video with other people that are in the work of Dr. Joe Dispenza? We're looking to add the missing pieces here to genuinely support you guys to become the creators of your reality like we have. Okay, it's taken us 10 years, but we got there. Now we want to support you. Any missing pieces in this puzzle of creation, any answer solutions, we're going to support you through video content, through articles. Please share this video with others that are in the community. Like, share, subscribe, and all that. And now, so that's what I really want to say. There is actually one thing. There is a newsletter that we formed. It's in the description. It's a golden newsletter because Nidhi writes an article every 2 weeks in how to further yourself, how to develop yourself as the conscious creator of your reality. Please go and do that. And Nidhi will share the next video, which is connected to this.
Yeah. So this video, obviously, we're talking about what do you do when your attention is being hijacked by heightened, strong, heavy emotions. So we've spoken about that. So the next video, what we're going to be getting into is what do you do when your attention keeps wavering? So it's not even a heavy emotion anymore. You move past that. Now you've gotten to a point where you're recognizing there's these kind of thoughts and emotions that are just sort of very lightly lingering in the background. And we were just talking earlier, that is oftentimes more dangerous than if you are feeling a really strong emotion, because it's almost like a silent assassin. It's happening in the background and you don't realize it until suddenly half a day has gone by and you wake up and think, shit. Like I've literally just cancelled out all the good stuff that I've done in the day. So we're going to be going into detail with that. We have both found that that's been a really big issue for us during the journey of understanding what creation is, and I feel like we've cracked it in a few different kinds of ways. So obviously we want to be able to share that with you. So just tune in for the next one, look out for that next video. Again, you know, we're going to be going into some good detail, and yeah, and I
That's
think
it, man.
that's us done.
So thank you for watching, and please do like, share, and subscribe. We look forward to being of greater service to you with each piece of content video that we produce. Thank you. My name is Vinny.
I am Nidhi.
Over and
Over
out.
and out.